medical marijuana industry creates millions of jobs nationwide. I'm Megan Guerin. Coming up on WVU News, I'll tell you what this can bring to the Mountain State.
The polls have closed and the results are in. I'm Noelle Ford, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you what the passage of the road bond means for Morgantown residents.
Mass shootings are on the rise in the U.S., but would cracking down on gun control make a difference? I'm Leanne Schinkel, and I'll tell you more straight ahead. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now.
One in every 370 Americans will be a victim of gun violence, and the recent Vegas shooting has many asking what this means for gun control. I'm Kendall Lewis.
And I'm Patrick Clark. Medical marijuana is now legal in West Virginia. So how do you get it? We have that report coming up.
These stories and more on WVU News, an Emmy Award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students right here at West Virginia University.
477 days, 521 mass shootings, zero action from Congress.
And with 56 senators who voted against gun control, many Americans are asking what happens now. Leanne Schinkel joins us in the studio with more. Leanne?
Thanks, Kendall. The worst mass shooting in the country has once again raised questions about gun ownership and has many asking whether there should be tougher laws regarding gun control. The battle over guns is resurfacing, and the debate on how to regulate them has rekindled. And many are saying guns don't kill people, people kill people. But our fears don't always match the facts. You could drive through any neighborhood in America, and on average, around 40% of homes have a firearm in them. That's about 300 million guns in the U.S. And while those numbers may seem large, Morgantown Police Chief Ed Preston says acts of violence have nothing to do with gun control.
They're individual acts of violence, and that's an individual decision. It doesn't matter what the law is. Someone that is bound and determined to commit the act of violence will commit that act of violence regardless of what the law is.
But do residents believe more stricter gun laws would help prevent mass shootings?
If somebody's mentally ill, they're going to find a way of carrying out whatever agenda they have. So just taking guns away from everybody, I think it's going to put more people in harm than it's going to do good.
I think we need stricter gun control because I think a lot of people who probably wouldn't be able to get a gun are getting guns.
And even with headlines like these, the Pew Research Center discovered the following in a recent poll. About 47% of Americans believe that stricter gun laws would minimize mass shootings, but a whopping 52% say it wouldn't make a difference. But even though Americans tend to be divided over stricter gun laws, the Pew Research Center also reports that 83% of Americans agree that gun violence is a big problem in this country. CNN reports that support for stricter gun laws tends to spike in the immediate aftermath of a mass shooting, but long-term support in favor of stricter gun laws tends to fade with time. In fact, multiple polls have shown a large percentage of Americans think the answer is more guns and not less.
Thanks, Leanne. Opinions vary in a lot of national issues, but the upkeep of local roads has an item that often sees unanimous support. The recent passage to the Roads of Prosperity Amendment signifies one thing. Residents agree West Virginia roads need an overhaul. Noelle Ford went to the polls on voting day. She joins us now from Studio B at the Media Innovation Center to tell us more. Noelle?
Thanks, Kendall. West Virginia residents hit the polls to vote on the Roads to Prosperity Amendment on October 7th. This bond will help rebuild roads, bridges, and highways throughout the state. The best part about this amendment, no tax increase for West Virginians. It was a low voter turnout at the polls to vote for Governor Jim Justice's Roads to Prosperity bond for infrastructure projects, passing by a 73 to 27% vote. But Morgantown residents say, with potholes like these, this bond is needed.
I hit a pothole going the speed limit, and it essentially, I lost my tire as well as bent a rim that the tire goes on.
I drive on Highway 7 every day to work, and it's terrible. And with all the truck traffic and all that, I just really feel like we need to have some road improvement around here.
So how much does it cost to pave a road? The West Virginia Division of Highway says that paving a 12-foot mile line like this one costs about $125,000 a mile.
And with nearly 80,000 miles of roads and highways in West Virginia, officials say the passing of this bond is necessary to move this state forward.
This is one of the few times that the governor said they realize that we need this infrastructure because we're growing, and now the public statewide said, okay, we're going to help you. And that's why this is a tremendous, tremendous success story.
In fact, the State Journal reports that the state will see increased revenue of about $130 million a year because of this road bond.
The $1.6 billion bond will be paid for by funds the state has already generated from the gasoline tax, increase in the Division of Motor Vehicle fees, and the state tax on cars. Back to you at the Waterfront studio.
Thanks, Noelle. While most residents consistently support roads and highway improvements, this next issue has only recently gained favor in our local government.
Medical marijuana has arrived in West Virginia. Senate Bill 386, the West Virginia Cannabis Act, allows patients to apply for medical cannabis if they have a terminal illness or suffer from cancer or another debilitating disease.
Kylie Rice joins us now from Social Square to tell us more. Kylie?
Med Marijuana is the official medical marijuana Twitter account with nearly 60,000 followers. And with over 2 million patients in America using medical marijuana, it's no surprise. Health reporter Megan Guerra has more on legalizing medical cannabis in the Mountain State.
Medical marijuana is making its way to West Virginia. Now, industries are educating the public on the many benefits, both economic and medical.
We see typically patients who start medical cannabis where it's legal, the opioid deaths typically go down 25% in the state, which is huge.
And people all over the country have had success stories, including Heather Shooker. She has a 14-year-old daughter with severe epilepsy who uses medical marijuana.
I had to make a decision if I was going to, help my daughter here illegally and risk getting caught, or if I was just going to watch my daughter die.
Hannah started on medical marijuana in 2014. Since using it, Shooker has described progress they haven't seen before. Since 1996, 28 other states in America have used medical marijuana to treat a variety of patients' illnesses. Now that it's medicinally legal in West Virginia, those with PTSD, epilepsy, and chronic pain have another option. Under Governor Jim Justice's Medical Cannabis Act, the earliest patients can receive medical cards for treatment is July 2019. Shooker says it's worth the wait.
It has helped so many people. There's so many success stories out there. People fighting cancer and that have chronic pain and have PTSD. I mean, it just helps so many people.
Until then, prospective patients are advised to look for doctors who plan on writing medical cannabis recommendations. Megan Guerra, WVU News, Morgantown.
About half of the states have legalized medical marijuana. For patients in West Virginia who want to know when they can request a prescription for medical cannabis, the answer is no sooner than July of 2019. At that time, patients will have to register with the health department to buy it from a regulated facility.
Thanks, Kylie. With holiday season around the corner, yet another industry promises to raise the state's economy.
That's right, Kendall. Nationwide retailers are expecting an increase of about 4% in holiday retail sales, or around $30 billion. I stopped by a popular shopping destination to find out more. Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, 3 major holidays that bring in mass amounts of money to our economy. From creating jobs to higher wages for workers, these are a few of the many factors that contribute to the strong holiday retail industry.
Christmas has always been one of the bigger holidays for retailers. I mean, they get a large majority of their sales from, Christmas holiday sales.
Despite Halloween at the end of this month, many people are getting a head start on their annual Christmas shopping.
Well, it's kind of hard to believe that Christmas is around the corner, but I put up 5 trees. So I'm always looking for something unique, and they have different things.
The National Retail Federation expects holiday sales to increase by up to 4% between October and December, up $682 billion from last year, enough presents for every U.S. citizen.
Since 2002, holiday sales have continuously increased, except for in 2008. However, with one bad year, retail has been on the rise. From over $500 billion to nearly $700 billion, the retail industry remains on the top shelf.
That's great news for the economy, Patrick.
Absolutely, Kendall. And coming up after the break, we share how one woman sees her years with the Mountaineer Band as a priceless investment.
And I take you on the Mon River to explore our state's natural beauty.
I'm Ryan Decker, and coming up on WVU News, I'll tell you about a veteran member of the Pride of West Virginia that's not looking to give up her spot anytime soon.
Did you know that there are nearly 2,000 miles of rivers in the state of West Virginia? I'm Kendall Lewis, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll show you how to get the greatest view.
For me, it all started with a question. Why? It drove me to look deeper. try harder. Think bigger. No way? Yes way. I took that question to a place where the possibilities are endless. It all started with a little question, a little why, and a little why not.
College athletes only have 4 years to make their mark, but for members of the band, there's no official cap on playing time.
The WVU marching band is called the Pride of West Virginia. Ryan Decker has more. Ryan?
That's right, Kendall. And it's a title well earned. In many ways, they are the true #1 fans, and spirit like this has no expiration date. And while we're familiar with a lot of faces on the sidelines, there's a face with a trumpet next to it that we should get to know a little better. Dawn West joined the WVU marching band during her freshman year in 1983. Now in 2017, a lot has changed, but Dawn can still be found marching and playing with the Pride. 263 football wins, countless performances, and more than 3 decades. That's how long Dawn West has been in the WVU marching band.
Once I became grandma, they kind of just let me continue.
In order to stay in the band all this time, Dawn took numerous classes. She now has 1 bachelor and 2 completed master's degrees and has started 2 others.
Waitressing and home health care and teaching summer school and after school, all of that to pay for, my expensive hobby.
Dawn started with the clarinet in the 4th grade, switched to the flute a few years later, and then bought her first trumpet in high school. Dawn here has been in the band for 35 years. I've been practicing to play this instrument for 35 seconds or so. Let's see how it goes. That's so bad, isn't it?
No, that's cute. That's great.
In her over 3 decades as a member of the Pride, Dawn has seen some changes. Milan Puskar Stadium is now closed on both sides, and the band sits in the north end zone. Uniforms have changed too. Dawn is on her 6th.
Everything else with the band has stayed the same. Traditions, which makes me happy. We've never lost those traditions.
But would she do it again if she had the chance to go back?
I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would. I've never regretted anything I've ever done.
She may be the oldest band member by a full generation, but she's never lost the excitement for game day. Dawn is a reading teacher at Long Drain School in Wetzel County and uses her love of music to help teach her students. She's already had the chance to play alongside one niece and may get the same opportunity starting next year.
Thanks, Ryan. Now we turn to a different kind of love, but one common to West Virginians, a love for the great outdoors.
The 2nd annual Meet the Mon event focused on a popular sport that has enthusiasts winding through the heart of Morgantown. I made a voyage of my own to learn more.
Meet the Mon is a boating event created to try out kayaks, canoes, and paddleboards on the Monongahela River. Residents were able to experience West Virginia's nature throughout the day.
I know that West Virginia has 4 distinct seasons is one thing I like about the state, but there's always something to do. There's a lot of outdoor activities.
There are approximately 89 days of fall, and during 30 of those days, people can enjoy the changing colors of the trees along the water.
There are 11 major rivers in the state of West Virginia, and canoeing and kayaking are just a few of the ways to enjoy the 2,000 miles of rivers throughout the state, making it easy for anyone to get out on the water.
There's a lot of people from a lot of different generations. I've been putting kids on boats, and they've wanted to try everything, and it just feels really good to be able to share that love.
And if you want to get in touch with your roots in one of these water activities, the New River Gorge has trips available almost year-round. For more information on how to plan your trip, visit the link on the bottom of your screen.
That story looked like it was a lot of fun, Kendall.
A lot of fun and maybe a little scary too. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of WVU News. You can visit us online on our website.
You can also watch our shows on YouTube, and please follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm Patrick Clark.
And I'm Kendall Lewis. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next time.